From Chess Frog Omniversity, the show. Our third show. This is a special episode, a little shorter than most, but we have here with us today
Terry Kinsey
of
of the Flint Farm Project.
Flint Farm Project, and we also have.
Georgia Brendan second out of the Mud Media.
All right. Today's topic is urban farming. What is urban farming? Mr. Kinsey, would you like to share with us what urban farming is?
Sure, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's just farming in an urban environment. So it's city farming, city boy farming.
Why is there a need for urban farming?
I think, for one thing, in a lot of urban settings, especially like underserved parts of town, you'll have neighborhoods that are pretty condensed and very little access to healthy food within, say, a mile or two, maybe even a 5 mile radius of that neighborhood.
So you're saying beer, lottery tickets, and cigarettes don't make a healthy diet?
No. And
but that's mostly what's available in some neighborhoods. Huh?
Right. And with the liquor stores, they're starting to make a little more of an effort now. Maybe you see a basket of apples or overripe bananas.
Overripe bananas is like prison hooch taken at the liquor store.
Right, but it's still not enough because then you still got 90% of the store filled with toxic junk that you can't really call food.
We're trying to get sponsorship from Frito-Lay. I think you just canceled that.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. And so essentially an urban farm, you could call it a large garden because typical with farming in rural areas, you're talking a lot of times upwards of 50 to 100 plus acres. And you don't really have that space in the city, so
even with the blight that we have, do you think that might be helping with urban farming, or do you think that might be counterintuitive to say that?
Well, I know like in Flint, because of the urban blight, abandoned houses, certain things like that get demolished. You have empty lots left behind. And in this area, you don't have a high demand for people wanting empty lots. So, for anyone who wants to start up an urban farm, that's a benefit because they can pretty easily acquire those lots from the land bank. And like I said, in like areas like Flint, Genesee County, it's a bit easier than what I've been hearing like out of Detroit and Lansing, where there's a more of a demand for space as it becomes available. So it's a lot harder for farmers to get those lots. But
well, let me go into a little explanation. The city land bank, or the land bank of Genesee County, actually acquires houses from the city tax rolls that are delinquent upon their taxes. They don't have to just be delinquent from the city, but once the city says pay this tax, you don't pay it, it goes to the county. Once you don't pay the county, eventually after 2 or 3 years, I'm not exactly sure on the exact procedures, but just in a nutshell, your house gets turned over to the land bank and it can become sellable at that point. Empty lots usually occur when the land bank, which actually gets paid more to demolish a house, up to $15,000 as opposed to the $4,000 or $5,000, $10,000 people are willing to pay for a house. They get paid $15,000 to demolish a house. The land bank has a choice of selling you the house. They're supposed to be able to sell the house to neighbors adjacent or tangent to the property, but interesting things sometimes happen when money and property are involved. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just want to get some people some definitions for land bank and for how the land bank acquires its properties.
So before we run out of time, what is your name again?
My name is Terry Kinsey.
And where are you from?
I'm from Flint, born and raised, and I currently work with
Asbury?
yeah, Asbury Community Development Corporation. We started a project a few years ago now called the Flint Farm Project, and
Where did you grow up in Flint?
all over the place, all the worst parts,
Okay.
Like,
Did you make them the worst parts?
No, definitely not. I was just kind of thrust there. But I've lived on every side of town at some point in time.
You have an interesting skill. I work with Mr. Kinsey here, and Mr. Kinsey has actually built 3 greenhouses for me. There's a greenhouse program out there that a lot of urban residents might be interested to find out about.
Yeah. That's a hoop house program. They're called hoop houses
Or high
because
tunnels.
of high tunnels is another name for them. But they're essentially metal frames with arches that make the bulk of the body of the structure, and then they're covered with 6 mil UV treated poly. That's certified usually to last a good 5 years. And that's a program that's being run through the NRCS, which is a branch of the USDA.
And every county has a county agent that works for the USDA or the NRCS.
NRCS, yep.
Yep.
And the one near here would be on Elms. So you can either look them up online or go straight to the office and inquire about the program. It's usually not very difficult. It's just, putting in your claim to be a farmer, getting a little area you call a farm track to build
By
it.
government standards, if you try and sell 1 tomato or try and sell 1 rose within a year, you are considered
Yeah,
a farmer.
Yeah, you're a farmer at that point.
Because you might have a year. Farmers sometimes have years where their whole crop fails. So as long as you are making an effort at the endeavor, you are pretty much considered a farmer.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going big and fast, then you might want to get crop insurance. But there's a lot of opportunities out here through the USDA that, especially now moving towards urban farmers that hasn't been there in the past. And I know with the Farm Bill recently being extended a year, there's been a lot of call for more to be included in the Farm Bill to assist urban farming as well. So I would look for that.
Underrepresented populations.
Yeah, it's relatively newer concept, and it's starting to gain traction. And through that process, you can eliminate what I was talking about earlier, which is like food deserts. I feel like
desert.
everyone should grow something edible. I feel like everybody in your neighborhood, it'd be an easy way to
Whether it be growing your own herbs or spices or that brings along something else when we say herbs and spices, because some people want to grow certain things, and we're not going to touch on that right now. But another provocative thing about the Hoop House or High Tunnel program, if you look it up, you can Google it, they will actually pay you up to 30 by 72, which is 2,196 square feet. They will pay you they'll pay you for each square foot that you build. And there's also a potential for getting a profit that can be reinvested into your greenhouse, whether it be getting an irrigation system or whatever. It's one of those rare programs that the government puts out where you pay $5,000 for the structure. You might pay $2,000 or $3,000 to have a contractor put it together for you, and in total you might get paid $10,000 or more for having built it. So there's a possibility to have some extra cash to invest into the farming.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do a lot to help somebody, especially people who are just getting started. in the process. And there's a lot of information online to learn the many different processes that goes into farming. I think, like me myself, I never pictured myself being involved in farming um, until, I don't know, maybe 8 years or so ago when I started learning about, the food system, about food deserts, about the quality of the food that we receive, and also the importance of local economy, supporting local economy, local growers, local food systems. Um,
There are a few local farmers that actually go to the farmers market and are able to expand their profits by selling at the farmers market, whether it be some rare crop, whether it be mushrooms or hot peppers or other things that might be of value.
yeah, that to a limited degree, yes. Unfortunately, um, our new modernized farmers market doesn't cater to local farmers as much as I would like to see by far, I think. But in the summer, there's more, like I guess you could call them stables that open up that are available for people to rent and sell some of their produce there as well. Um,
There are some breweries I know that want particular types of hops, and there are some chefs that might be local that might want a special type of shallot. So there's also some specialty markets out there.
yeah, definitely. I think if you're doing urban farming as a for-profit endeavor, then I think specialty crops would probably be a good way to earn money faster, you know. And if you're doing it for, you know,
Health reasons or
health, yeah, or just,
a hobby.
access for food, eliminating the grocery store as a middleman, then
It feels pretty good to be able to go outside and just grab a couple of tomatoes instead of running to the store or grab a bell pepper.
right.
And sometimes it's simple as growing your own collard greens. Or my father-in-law wanted me to grow Crowder peas. I had never heard of these before, but they're kind of like it's good to be able to grow stuff like that and grow stuff specifically for different people. So
Absolutely, and typically the quality is a lot
fresher.
better. It's a lot better than what you get at a grocery store. And if you think about it, if you look at where your groceries come from in the grocery store, your produce, you might be getting lettuce from California or, Brazil or Mexico or, and in the moment that that crop is harvested, it starts losing nutritional value. So,
We also have to take into account we're not sure what insecticides or
right.
chemicals are being used or what quality of sanitation is being afforded the people that pick our crops. I don't want to get into an issue talking about people coming into the country, but without those people, trust me, those strawberries and grapes would be $10 a pound
Oh, yeah.
easily.
But the thing I also notice is that if you pay attention to the food that gets recalled every week, I like to keep an eye on that. You'll be surprised. Almost everything gets recalled at some point.
My
That's
wife had
edible.
me stop buying cantaloupes for a while because of some listeria or some kind of virus that was affiliated with them. And it seems like we're hearing that more and more these days that lettuce is contaminated
Yeah,
or that this food is contaminated. It is kind of scary. But if it's coming out of your own garden or your own farm, then you know that it's going to be something that's quality. So that might be something that might push people more towards growing for themselves.
yeah. You can definitely control what goes into your food at that point.
You're also involved with a new endeavor. Is it a coalition or can you describe the new urban thing that you're working on as far as bringing people together?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I'm definitely looking to get into this year is to build a local growers coalition, of local farmers, small to medium sized farmers, in the greater Flint area. Um, I think it's important to do that, and definitely for people who are just starting to or who are newer, to have that support.
Have support
Yeah.
mentors or people they can share resources with.
Yeah, because that's the thing I noticed. When I first got started and started learning as much as I could about it, there's a lot of people out there who are happy to share information, happy to share resources, um, to help newcomers get going strong. So, that's something I would like to continue.
When I first came to Flint, Terry is one of the people that I met that was very supportive in not only describing different programs and options and resources that were around here, but he actually built my first hoop house high tunnel and did a spectacular job with it. He did the second one and also did a third mini one for me. But also, just as a side note, yesterday, Mr. Kinsey here, I just started an apiary. I have 2 hives, and Mr. Kinsey volunteered to come help me transfer my first 2 nooks, first 2 queens with her brood into hives, which was I was very fortunate to. I'm very fortunate to know him. I'm quite sure if you see him out in the community, he'd be willing to help you out also, or share some information with you. So we've covered quite a few topics here.
I mean,
And,
yeah, the bee thing, yeah, that's scary stuff right there. I'm just getting started in that myself, pretty
that
much.
smoke is the key.
Right? Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
I don't know if that smoke has a little THC in it or what, but those bees calmed down for me today when I was putting the extra frames in. I've been stung once as an apiarist, and we'll see
Yeah,
how many more stings I can collect
that's
in
a
life, or see if I even want to count them.
that's a badge of honor, So you got to get stung. That's yeah.
I want to have a sign on the door on the wall that says 1,000 days without a bee sting, 30 years without a bee sting.
Yeah, I mean, um, yeah, that's something. Yeah, I wanted to get into for a long time, and just like last year, um, I really started like looking more into it, and we got some hives out there to our farm. I think it's definitely worthy. If you're growing crops, then at least get yourself 1 or 2 hives.
Then you have your own pollinators.
Well, part of that is kind of building that into the ecology around your farm, and
And
bringing in native perennials and flowers and stuff like that to attract the local pollinators to your farm, and also to feed them and help them thrive. It's very important.
you can confirm this with your own doctors, but a lot of people swear that if you eat local honey, which is collected a lot of the local pollen and a
Hmm.
lot of the local dander that's in the air, that consuming local honey on a regular basis actually reduces the effect of different allergies, like if you're allergic to certain types of grass or wheat or different
Hmm.
things. A lot of people swear by that local honey as a way of dealing with allergens.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like the bees make a little bit of a um vaccine. You know what I'm saying? You get a small dose of the pollens into your system, and then that helps, I guess, your system be able to cope with them better. At least that's what I hear.
They have found honey still edible from the Egyptian tombs.
Oh yeah,
Honey is one of those miracle foods that doesn't expire.
yeah. Bacteria can't grow in honey. Um, so it's definitely one of those miracles of nature, I would say.
My friend calls it bee vomit, but we're not going to get into the bee vomit part of that. Greetings, sir. So we have honey as something that we have honey that's available to us, and we have other things that are becoming more available to us through urban farming. But again, we have Terry Kinsey here. I appreciate you coming on for this quick shout out. The resources that he described earlier. We have the Hoop House High Tunnel Initiative, which might actually pay you to build a greenhouse. We also have local farming and urban farming that helps deal with food deserts. And we have the apiary movement where people are starting to grow their own bees and create their own honey to deal with different issues.
Yeah, don't let it intimidate you. definitely give it a try, even if it's nothing but a small garden at the side of your house.
Grow
it's a
your
good
own
thing.
peppers, grow your own collard greens. Thank you, Terry, for coming on.
Right on.
Mr. Grundy, did you
Thanks
have
for
any questions
having
from our friend right here?
Just tell them how they can get in touch with you, and people need to get in touch with you.
Okay. Yeah, you can reach me through Asbury Community Development Corporation, and my email is terry@flintasbury